me start with this. Where do you go, or who do you trust for news, for information? In our modern world, there's lots and lots and lots of places. We live in an information age, right? Many folks grew up where there was just a few, maybe a morning or afternoon newspaper, a handful of magazines that would be out monthly, potentially, that gave us some information, a television show, a nightly news perhaps on one of the major television networks. Those are all places that people have gone in the last, 50, 60, 75 years, I suppose, for information. And each have its thing. And I would guess even today, you have your site, right? You have your favorite cable news channel. There's a couple of them especially, but even more than that. But many of you may have a one of those that you go to. Maybe you still read the newspaper, but maybe now it's online. And speaking of online, maybe there's websites that you go to for information. And those websites vary a lot, right? You could go to something like Wikipedia, which is the modern day version of an encyclopedia, I guess. But is that a trustworthy site? Or do you go to, again, a major news channel or a YouTube video of somebody that potentially sounds like they know what they're talking about? I say all this to say we all kind of pick and choose a little bit with where we go for information or who we are going to trust. In 2 Peter chapter 1, Peter stakes out his claim to the readers, to the Christians, to the church, why they can trust him. As outside influences would come and try to rebut the disciples and the things that they had taught, we're going to see him especially start going this way as he talks about the false teachers. He wants to remind the people just of why they can trust him, why they can trust what they've read in other letters from potentially people like Paul or John, the other apostles. But Peter gives a great reason why that people could trust him. He was an eyewitness. When I think about all the things I talked about, if I wanted to know if something is true, if there was an eyewitness who was at that event, that ball game, or that political rally, or the site of a big accident or something, an eyewitness would be somebody I'd trust. Peter's saying, I was an eyewitness to Jesus Christ. I heard the things that he said. I heard the Father say that Jesus was his son in front of Moses and Elijah, as Rick shared with us on Sunday. Peter wants to make sure that people know he is worthy of their trust. And then he takes it another step. And it's not only me that you can trust, he says, but you can trust the prophets, the Old Testament prophets that told us all about Jesus and when he would come and what it would be like. Even if we missed it originally, we can trust the prophets. He wants them to know. And prophets don't have there's not a new revelation that's coming out to them in their day. He wanted to make sure that they recognize we have the information we need through the prophets. We have it through those same prophets and through authors like Peter and John and James and Paul. We too have that. And especially, I know Peter is again pointing to, we can trust the prophets. We don't need new information like the Gnostics were soon to be sharing with people, that God had given them a new revelation, that everyone who was going to be anyone in God's economy would need to have this revelation as well. No, Peter warns, that's not what it's about. Trust me, I was an eyewitness to Jesus, he says. Trust the prophets. They were given the words from God long ago. And we can build our same trust the same. So it's been a great journey already through 2 Peter. We'll come back to it in a week or so on the 26th on Memorial Day weekend. Again, that's our 2 services. Don't forget about that. This weekend, we hope you'll join us for Mission Sunday as Michael comes from Costa Rica. He's part of the Nobe Institute that we are a part of down there that Pastor Rick went to in Panama months back, and we'll be continuing to support in the years ahead. Join us this weekend as we celebrate Michael, what's happening there, and many of our other missionaries who will be in attendance with us. Until then, we'll see you. Have a great week.